Okay, so it's 9:13 a.m. I can't sleep. I wanted to do a solo podcast for a while, but right now this is very impulsive. I had not planned this. I do not know what I'm going to talk about, but I feel like I should do this. And I really wanted to do this ever since. I listen to a lot of podcasts, but all the podcasts we've done, I've never done one alone. It's always either been with Admin K, talking to him, or with a guest. And I just felt like maybe I should try doing it alone as well, because that's how a lot of people do it. I don't know if you guys will enjoy this. I don't know. This is very unstructured. Honestly, this is a very, very spontaneous thing. And if you're listening, thank you for listening. I think I'm going to talk about stuff I usually can't talk about. Like stuff I have trouble talking about. Stuff most of us have trouble talking about. So, a few days ago, I posted a story. It was related to something that triggered like memories I had that I thought I'd gotten over. And I feel like I should talk about that because I didn't know that I still had that trauma ingrained into me. I thought I was over it. It's been 2 years, man. I thought I was over it. But then when I started writing and the tears started flowing, I realized I wasn't over it and I was just suppressing how I felt. So I deleted that story because I felt very vulnerable. But then I realized I'm always trying to help you guys, and every time I put up a story asking how you guys are, there's always so many going, how are you, Salty? Why don't you ever tell us how you are and what's going on in your life? So maybe I'm going to do that today. Maybe I'm going to tell you guys how Salty is. I'm very happy right now, alhamdulillah. I am, honestly. We all have our ups and downs, and we all have our, lows and our tough periods. And honestly, my life has been, alhamdulillah, I've been very blessed in my life, and I've learned to be thankful for everything I have and for everything I am blessed with. 2019, however, was probably the worst year of my life. Acha. So, 2019. Okay, so we need a backstory first. How was it the worst year ever? It wasn't. So basically, I have always been a very goal-oriented person. So, I prefer to set goals, long-term goals, and then to work towards them. I usually try to have these goals be very unrealistic, so I'm always working for them, but always just in reach, and then they go further ahead because they're very tough goals to achieve. So I had 5 goals that I set for myself in 01. Alhamdulillah, I achieved most of them, but I also lost all of them in 2019. So one of these goals is what I'm going to be talking about today, which is what triggered me which is what I don't know. I wouldn't use the word trigger, I guess. It could be trigger. It just made me really sad again to think about it. And I think that's okay to feel sad about stuff in the past. But we also have to learn to move on and accept it, because life doesn't stop for anybody. And हम जो भी कर लें, हम जितना भी रो लें, हम जितना भी अपने ऊपर तरस खा लें, life's going to keep on moving. So it isn't smart to reminisce. It isn't smart to get stuck in a single certain place in life. We should keep moving forward. We should keep adapting. We should keep changing. And we should never indulge in self-pity. My dad once told me that जो अपने ऊपर तरस खाता है वो he's hopeless because he's just digging himself into a pit that he's never going to be able to come out of because he's always going to think उसके साथ कोई जुल्म हो रहा है या उसकी ज़िंदगी बाकियों से ज़्यादा मुश्किल है. And I really believe that कि if you indulge in self-pity, you're gone, man. You can't get out of that because literally anything that happens, you're going to blame the world and not yourself for it because you're going to be like, oh, मेरी किस्मत ही ऐसी है या ये दुनिया ही ऐसी है and I can't do anything about it या मेरे साथ होता ही यूं है. But you are in control of your life. Everybody is. Sure, sometimes we can't help what happens and shit happens, man. It's okay. I would never have expected what happened to me to happen to me because I took every single precaution I could to prevent it. But it happened. I got sad over it. I took my time. But now I'm okay. I'm better. You learn to cope with time. Everything heals or gets better. But my point is, there's no use in being stuck in the same place. And I know it's easier said than done, trust me, because I was stuck in the same place for so long. So long. I'd never experienced a setback as major as this. तुम लोग भी कह रहे हो कि बकवास की जा रहा है, बोल नहीं रहा क्या था. I'm just stalling because I don't want to talk about it. Ha. If anybody from my family is listening to this, please do not confront me after this. I'm okay. I'm fine. Alhamdulillah, I am happy. Okay. So, where was I? I was a very, very, very goal-driven kid. And one of the major goals I set for myself was the most unrealistic one, which everybody told me was very stupid, was to be a footballer, a professional footballer, to make a living from football. And I know it's very unrealistic and every guy probably has this dream. लेकिन मुझे यूं था कि मैंने करना है और this was one of the biggest things for me. And over like a 5-year period from 01 to A2, I sort of built my life around football. So I would wake up at Fajr, I'd pray namaz, and then I'd train. Or training ke baad, I'd do my stretches, I'd do everything, and then I'd go to school, and then I'd train with the school team, and then I'd train with... School team trainings used to be 2 days a week, and they weren't very consistent over the 5 years because our school wasn't very into football as such. But I always had a second team. I always had a team that had me recruited, or unki team trainings hoti thi, and I'd go to those, and I'd go to the gym after that. And if I didn't have team training and I'd have an off day afterwards, I'd even go running. So my life literally revolved around football. Everything I did, every action I took involved football. If I was studying, I'd force myself to study harder because you can go abroad. If you study well, you can get a good scholarship, which was one of my other goals. So I linked two of my goals. One was to get a full scholarship and go abroad, and the other was to play football. So I thought, why not mix both of those up? Get a full scholarship, go abroad. There's a better chance of making it in football because they have amazing scouting processes and everything. So I forced myself to study harder. I forced myself to give more in every aspect of my life because I convinced myself that football was somehow involved. So if it was padhai, I was like, okay, if you go abroad, you have a better chance of making your dream. If it was school or like leadership roles in school, like council positions, I'd convinced myself, if you do this, you're going to be a better leader on the pitch. You're going to develop your personality, and that's very important for football. And if it was like setbacks or any hardships I'd face, I'd be like, you gotta get used to this because you're going to face hardships. And especially with the goals you have to be strong and you have to be resilient because you have to get into football. That's your goal, right? So this was a very rigorous routine I had for 5 years. I'd run every night. I did 10Ks once a week. I had matches almost every day, and maybe I did overexert myself to a large extent, but I always listened to my body. Always. Like, if I felt like I was tired or injured, I'd stop, because that's what all the experts said. और मेरा literally YouTube पे भी I would just watch goal oriented videos, like stuff to help me work out better, stuff to help me analyze myself better, like all of that stuff. I did so much to try and achieve this one really important goal to me. So in A2 I got really certain I was finally getting like the fruits for all my mehnat and effort, because everybody respected me as a player. Whenever somebody would say football, like in class or anything, everybody would turn to me. So that was like, whoa, they associate that with me, and it meant a lot for that. And it was like, teams that didn't used to play me, that used to bench me, would be calling me to come and play for them because they had an important match and they had to win and they needed me. So it felt like I was finally making progress. Like, after all that time, I was finally being recognized and respected in the community. Then one of my goals was to represent my country. I managed to do it, but then not on a major scale. It was the basically the final chance I had to represent Pakistan was for the U19s. I think it was either Sri Lanka or Greece. I ended up missing Sri Lanka because I tore my ankle ligaments. I tore 3 ligaments in my ankle just before the tour. And I missed Greece because of the traumatic incident. So I missed both my opportunities because of injuries. And I still tell people I was a national level player, because I really believed I was, and I knew I was, because I was at that level, but I ended up never playing because of injuries. I ended up never doing anything because of injuries. And so for Sri Lanka, I was so sure, because all of my friends, people I played with, went, and it was like, okay, I'm at that level because all of these people I play with on a daily basis. And it just ended up being like, the coach told me he was taking me, definitely, but then I got injured and I just never called him. I never did. And then for Greece, it was also like very, very solid. The coach said he was interested in taking me, everything was aligned, and then I tore my ACL. At the same time, Atletico Madrid had come to Pakistan, and they scouted me for one of their training camps or something. So my coach was, I don't remember his name anymore. This was it's almost 2 years, a year ago, something like that. I don't remember the coach, but we called him big something. I don't remember. He was really nice, man. He was really nice. He told me I had a shot. He told me that I could potentially be taken back to Spain with them, or so that was like, whoa, Atletico Madrid, that's big, bro. And it just felt like it just felt like everything was finally aligning. But then I got injured. I tore my ACL, and then the doctor told me I had no damage and I was completely fine and I should start playing in a week. But I felt like I torn my ACL. That's what I felt like. So I rested for about 2 months and I strengthened myself and everything. But then the tour dates for the Greece tournament were coming up and the Atletico tournament were coming up. Not Atletico tournament, but the Atletico final deadline for shortlisting the players was coming up. So I was like, I need to be faster with my recovery, because I need to go back out there and play, or I'll miss every chance I've worked so hard to make. So I rushed myself and I ended up injuring myself again. And then I did this one more time and I injured myself again, and I messed it up too badly. It messed up so hard that the doctor told me I could never play again. And that was probably the first time I cried like I did. Like that much. I don't cry a lot. I don't know why. After that I do. Usse pehle I used to not cry at all. I don't know, it's just how I was. But after that incident, I tear up a lot. But us din I held it in for so long. The drive from the doctor to home is about 20 minutes. And when he told me, it just shook me into my core. And my mom was with me, and my siblings were with me, and I was just in the car, and I sat piche on purpose so I wouldn't have to sit next to my mom. And there was just tears going down my face, but I was like wiping them off so fast so that she wouldn't notice. And as soon as the car stopped, I opened the door and I ran to my room, and I just couldn't stop myself from just exploding open, and the waterworks just came. And I guess where I messed up in dealing with my emotions was I suppressed them really quickly. Like 20 minutes after this, I was studying. I was like, mere CIs hain, I can't be crying about this, I need to be stronger. And I just like, in the most casual way, I started studying and I started working on that. And I guess I just suppressed those emotions and I never dealt with them. And maybe that's why that incident yesterday triggered me so much. So yeah, I guess that's the story. But look, I'm here, I'm good, I'm thriving, I'm way better than I was. I can't run properly yet. I've tried a lot. I've tried rehab, I've tried everything. But it hurts a lot, PP. I'm trying my best to try and rehab it myself and to get back to normal at least. I know I won't be able to play again. I've accepted that. And it was such a major part of my life that it took me a very long time to accept that. I just didn't want to. But I have now. And I'm okay with it. I think. I hope I am. But obviously I miss it. It was an integral part of my life and I loved it. But what I didn't realize for the longest time was that I held on to it so tightly, and I didn't want to accept the fact that it was true and I could not pursue my dream anymore. Okay, I just clung on to it and I refused to replace it. I didn't add new routines. I didn't add new activities to do instead of the football related activities, and that caused me to feel empty and alone, and it just caused me to feel very, very sad because I was idle. I was bedridden for the longest time. I gained weight ultimately. I was a very thin bacha because I was training so much. I'm 5'11", I'm pretty broad. I'm 5'10 and a half, but I'm gonna say 5'11". So I'm pretty broad, and I was like 76 kgs. I was a stick, literally a stick at that point in time. So I gained like 30 kgs. I got to 105, 110 kgs during that 3-month period that I literally didn't want to do anything. I ended up choosing not to go to university abroad, either because I felt like I was too sad to do it, and I'd end up like getting into drugs and everything, and I didn't want that. Because bahar it's way easier, and over here I had my family to support me and to help me out with everything. So I just thought it was smarter to stay in Pakistan for now. and I don't regret it at all. I honestly do not regret that decision even a little, because I've managed to find such amazing friends over here, and I've managed to carve such amazing opportunities. I wouldn't be recording this if I was in America right now. I wouldn't be recording this. I literally would be. I don't know if I'd invest this much into Saltafa, and I'd invest so much time into you guys, because honestly, when I was in that place, I posted a lot, and to just see people telling me how they felt good helped me feel good, and to help people deal with their problems when they DM'd me made me feel like I was there for someone. Because when I was in that place, I wanted someone to relate to me and like to help me through it, but everybody just said the same things all over and over again, and it was end pe yaar, it was always there's nothing wrong with this, but you get tired of the same thing, like, and I didn't want to talk to everybody and keep telling my story, because I just felt like nobody actually cared. Nobody actually wanted to know. And I just felt like everybody was tired of my shit, and they just wanted me to stop and get over it. But it isn't that simple. You don't just get over this shit. It takes time, and it's okay, you guys. It's okay to take time to heal and to try and get yourself back together, because we all deserve time off. Nobody's happy all the time. We can take our time and pull ourselves out of the holes we dig ourselves into. It's okay to not be 100% all the time. It's okay to not be productive all the time. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to have time to yourself. I promise. I don't even know what structure this is going in. I'm so random. I'm so sorry for... I doubt anybody's listening abhi tak, but yes. So, what was I saying? Yes, we have to... What I learned through this was you have to replace. You have to accept whenever you can. You have to take your time to grieve about it. But then when you accept it, you need to replace it with other activities so you don't feel as empty. So I couldn't run anymore, so I started swimming. I started gym again, but only upper body. I started reading instead of the morning training. I started reading. I also started to learn other skills like editing and YouTube and all of that. YouTube skill to nahi, editing. I started learning editing, and I just invested a lot of time into other stuff. Then slowly but surely, I got used to it. I embraced the fact. Abhi bhi it sometimes hits me, but I'm way better, man. Mentally, I'm way better. I'm trying to be even better, and I'm slowly trying to build even healthier coping mechanisms for it. I'm trying to walk every night 30 minutes. I'm trying to cycle a little bit more. But yeah, I think it's so important to understand that it's okay to be in a place like that, because everybody, I think, experiences something like that at least once in their life. But I see it now more as like a blessing, because I don't know what my life would have been if that didn't happen. I don't know if I probably wouldn't have made it pro, and I probably would have gone to Atletico, wasted 5 years of my life, not gotten a uni degree, and just ended up being unemployed. I don't know if I would have gone to Park team, and I would have done all of those things, but end pe I wouldn't have made it as a pro, because that's not how it is in Pakistan, and you don't have the same opportunities as you do abroad. Maybe this was a good thing, I get to focus more on my education. I am 100% certain Saltafa would not be where it is if I had gone abroad, if I had been focusing on football, because I wouldn't have invested into it like this. Saltafa literally became a part of my day, and helping you guys helped me cope with my own problems, because I don't know, it was just a way for me to... I don't know how to explain it to you guys, but it really helped me get through all of it. When I was at my saddest, just seeing the support and just everything like about it really amazingly helped me through. Even though like I didn't communicate all of this to you guys, I knew you were there for me, and I felt like secure and safe despite everything. Yeah, but this is such a random podcast. I'm sorry if this is a tough here. I'm sorry if I don't like talking about my problems. It's been 3 years since I've been running this page, and I don't really talk about any of my stuff this openly because of how judged I feel because of it. A lot of you know who I am in real life, but I don't talk about this shit to anybody because I'm a very private person. And if you do know me and you're listening to this, I'm okay, man. Don't worry. It's been 2 years. I've learned to deal with it, and I just thought, and this is, I was in bed and I couldn't sleep, and I thought, maybe if I talk about this, maybe if I put this out there, it could help somebody else deal with their problems. Maybe I could help somebody else understand they aren't alone in what they're facing. Maybe it can have an impact broader than my own problem. And I felt like if I let it out one time entirely, it would help lessen the weight on my shoulders. So yeah, here we are. It is a tough place to be in, but I promise you, one day you'll come out of it and you'll see how that one moment in your life, if you had it yet or if you haven't, where everything turned to absolute shit, was probably the moment that you should be most thankful for, because I wouldn't be who I am today without that one moment that changed my vision for my life entirely. Maybe Allah does have a plan. Maybe He does know what is better for me, because when I think about it in retrospect, I wouldn't be who I am right now if it wasn't for that moment. I wouldn't have the friends I do right now if it wasn't for that moment. Everything would have been different. Everything. Maybe I would have gone abroad and gotten into the wrong stuff and probably veered off path, or like gotten disconnected from my family because I was so involved in everything else. And now I feel like it's good. Like, I'm doing okay. I'm proud of myself. Once, like, I wasn't for the longest time. I used to be so happy with who I was, and then for the year in between when I was really sad, I wasn't happy with who I was. I was very mad at myself for giving up on football and for accepting the fact that I wouldn't make it back. But I knew deep within it was realistic to understand now it wasn't okay to have that dream. I was 18, and 18 pe it is honestly वैसे ही too late, and then I got injured and I missed my one chance that I'd carved out. And to think I would keep persisting on it and hoping कि एक पाकिस्तानी लड़के को 19 की एज पे 18 की एज पे एक और चांस मिलेगा, I think that was somewhat unrealistic now. And to be realistic, I think it is okay I somehow moved away from it. I wouldn't have if I wasn't forced away from it. And I hope I can play someday again. I really do. I really do, because I love the sport and I love the game, and it is my life. Most of the people I know in my life are because of the beautiful game. It's just been so important to me, and I miss it every day. But maybe it was for the best. Maybe it wasn't goodbye forever, but it was a see you later football. I'll see you some other day. I feel like now I've let it all out, and I shouldn't take and force this and make this too long. But I just really want to say that whatever you're going through, it will pass. This is what I told myself. And this is what I've told myself for a very long time. Whatever it is, it will pass. If it's good times, they will pass. If it's bad times, they will pass. If you're on top of the world, it will pass. So don't let it get to your head. Don't let it change who you are. Stay humble, because it will pass. People will not care tomorrow. Like, it's gone. Boom. If you're in a bad place, if you feel helpless, if you feel demotivated, if you feel alone, it will pass. Because that is the beauty of life. It keeps going. And everything passes by. Good times, bad times, it all changes. And the ups and downs are what makes life interesting. Constant highs are not realistic and they're not healthy, because you get complacent. And if you feel like you are in a state of constant lows, stay strong, man. And try and reevaluate everything. Try and make sure you aren't in that state of self-pity, because then it's very tough to help yourself. Because there's this thing in psychology known as I think it's Beth's triad. So you need to have 3 things to be properly depressed. One is negative thoughts about the future. If you've done A-level psychology, you know this. One is negative thoughts about the future. Second is negative thoughts about oneself. And third is negative thoughts about the environment. So you can't have... If you have 2 of those, you automatically get the third one. So you need to really work on... If I said that wrong, don't at me, but you understand my point. Okay, you need to work on having a positive perspective for the future. And I know it is way easier said than done, guys. I have been there, but trust me, like, you need to force yourself. Affirmations every day. That's what I did. I literally conditioned myself to stop thinking negative thoughts. Every time I'd think a negative thought, I'd shun myself. I'd immediately say a good thing. If I'd think, oh, meri zindagi kharab ho gayi hai, I've messed everything up, I tell myself, no, you're only 18. You've got your whole life ahead of you, and this is probably going to be the best thing that's ever happened to you. That's what I told myself every time I had that negative thought. और फिर ये होता है कि ऑटोमेटिकली आपकी ब्रेन वो कनेक्शंस फॉर्म कर लेती है कि as soon as you think that negative thought, you automatically by reflex think the good thought, and over time you actually start believing it. This is Skinnerian psychology, and I really like it because it's really worked for me and helped me change my mindset. Another thing I'd recommend is having a list of motivational videos ki playlist. I listen to those a lot. It helps me with my mindset insanely. If you want, I'll link them in the description below, like the main 10 to 5 I listen to, so it can help you out. And I read a lot of self-improvement books in my time when I was down to help me regain my mindset and to be stronger. And I'll link those below, and I'll try and make a small podcast or a video about them to help you guys understand how to read those. Not read, how to read, matlab how to digest those and to apply those to your life. And maybe, hopefully, you can get through whatever you're going through if you're going through it. And in the end, I just want to tell you guys, if you listened itni aage tak, I love you guys and thank you for listening. This has been Ep.1. Love you guys. Salt fam. Peace. Good night, guys.